Hello, today for review I've got one of the most recent additions to the FiiO lineup. It's their desktop amplifier K3. Of course it's still small, you know, it's a successor of one of their best-selling models E10. So it's not some big stationary desktop amplifier, it's a small device, but it's targeted to be used with your computer or with with laptop or something like that. It doesn't have internal power, but it's really interesting upgrade compared to their E10. First of all, it uses more recent digital to analog converter AK4452, same as FiiO's Q1 Mark II, and it has more better amplification section built using OPA op-amps. Actually, in terms of sound schematics, it's similar to the Q1 Mark II, but without battery, without this portable usage, and also tuned to deliver more power. Its price is $110, and for this price it's a really competitive device, so let's have a closer look now. Box is fairly simple, it's made of white cardboard, nothing fancy. On the back side there is this scratch sticker to check if this is original product or not, but no technical specifications printed. Actually, speaking about technical specifications, probably the most important is output power, and for the 32 ohms load, this device can deliver 120 milliwatts from single-ended output and about 200 milliwatts from balanced output. So as you can see, it's not something super power, but it's a small desktop digital analog converter, so it's more than enough for the vast majority of loads. So in this box you will have a quick start guide, warranty card. So let me shake it. Digital to analog converter itself. Here it is. As you can see, it's a small and cute device. And tiny box with accessories set. So not much accessories here. Rubber feet to be glued on the bottom side of this device, and USB-C cable. So nothing fancy, but anyway, everything that you will need to use this digital to analog converter. And as you can see by the design, it's really nice. It's small. Here is it on my palm. It's small, but it's still pretty good looking. It's made of aluminum. There is a black and silver version. It has rounded edges, so I think it looks more modern, probably, but it's a matter of taste anyway. On the back, so what controls and we have. So on the back side there is USB-C to connect it to the source, line out, coaxial out, and optical out. So you can use it as a converter from USB to optical or coaxial. And here is interesting switch. USB audio, you can select USB audio version 1.0 and 2.0. So if you're using some old version of Windows, for example, or some old smartphone or tablet, you can toggle it to USB 1.0 and use it without drivers. Highest resolution will be limited, if I remember right, to 24 bits 96 kHz, but you won't need drivers. And you can toggle it to USB audio 2.0 and you will get DSD, higher resolutions, but you will need drivers at least for Windows. Of course, macOS and Linux will work without drivers. And also for another usage of this toggle, actually when I was watching some videos, toggling to 1.0 gives me no lag during video playback, so it's another additional feature for me. And on the front side you will see balanced output, regular headphones output, bass boost, and gain toggle. Actually, in vast majority of cases you can keep it on the low gain. Bass boost adds about 6 decibels on the lower bass. It's most noticeable, adding a bit warmth. Actually, I like it sometimes with some headphones. Here, as you can see, pretty interesting volume knob interesting in shape. And LED indicator, it will change color depending on the signal. It can show is it playing something below 48 kHz, above 48 kHz, or DSD. And as usual, it works as a on-off switch. So you turn it and the volume it turns on and volume starts increasing. Here used hybrid volume control, so there is analog potentiometer inside, but its value is treated by the analog to digital converter, and then this digital value is used to regulate the signal power using special chip. So it gives you 2-in-1. It's good as analog potentiometer, so it's pretty linear, but at the same time it has no noise when you're rotating this knob, and it has no channel imbalance, and also it's not affecting the dynamic range like some digital volume controls does. So I can say that maybe it's not something super fancy, but you know, it's a really good, nice looking and solidly built device. Speaking about sound quality, you know, this time I will probably skip this part with connecting some source, with putting headphones on the table. Let's pretend I did it already and proceed to the description of the sound. Sonically, it's pretty close to the FiiO's Q1 Mark II. If you heard Q1 Mark II, you can probably imagine the sound of this digital tonal converter. With one exception, it's a bit more powerful. It's a pretty natural device, especially in terms of frequency response, but it has a slight emphasis put on the low frequencies. You know, it's done not by adding additional bass in quantity, but adding a bit more weight to the low frequencies without altering frequency response. And of course, with bass boost, you can add also quantity to the low frequencies, so it will be not linear frequency response, but without bass boost it's totally flat, and you know, it has nice resolution, pretty good control all over all sound frequencies, and in this terms is very universal device. So lows are natural with good resolution, with good texturing, without too much accent, very not probably not really natural, but natural, really natural sounding, with good weight, with good impact, and so on. Of course, it's not some expensive digital tonal converter and amplifier that costs thousands of dollars, so it's probably a bit more affordable device. So resolution is not superb, but as I've said, really good. It has good depth, you know, it's really well controlled deep bass really well, so if your headphones are capable of outputting good low bass or sub bass, actually probably sub bass isn't correct word because sub bass isn't audible by ears. So if your headphones capable of outputting low bass, you will get it in good quantity, so really solid foundation is built here. Mids are also natural, sometimes it's just a little bit lacking some emotion, actually not emotions, it's lacking a bit added emotion sometimes. It's natural, and with dull records it will sound dull, so it won't add anything on the mids, but it's resolving, and with good headphones it will definitely give you imaginary soundstage that is a bit bigger than average, both in width and in depth, good holographic staging, so I think, you know, its mids are even better than its price range. And Treble has nice extension, nice control, it's not fatiguing, it's not too much, not too few, good attacks and decays. Layering is really basic on Treble, but we're speaking about affordable device, so it's not logical to accept some great layering, for example, but you know, anyway, it's really balanced device, and it's really universal in terms of load. What's surprising me the most, especially compared with E10, it's almost black background noise. So even with sensitive in-ear monitors, it got, and with, of course, there is not much interference via USB power supply. If your USB power supply of your notebook or PC is clean, then it won't give you any noise. if you have some ground loop, probably you have to use some isolator. But anyway, device itself is really silent, even with sensitive models like Campfire Audio Andromeda, zero background noise, and really good black background, and it's really sound really effective because all notes appear on this black background, really nice highlighted and really well controlled. So you can use it with sensitive in-ear monitors, and then it can drive really power hungry models, you know, full size scans, maybe not some hard to drive planars, but anyway, full size, almost all full size headphones with impedance up to 100 ohms is not an issue. Difference between outputs are minimal, balanced sounds a bit wider in terms of soundstage, but you know, difference isn't really huge, so if you're okay with the power of single-ended output, you can definitely live with it. Bass boost, I've already described it. It adds a bit warmth. It's done, you know, in a really polite way. It is adding 6 decibels of the low bass, but you know, it's not a big boost in quantity, but it adds a bit warmth of the lower end. And speaking about some comparisons, you know, I'm not a big fan of comparing different devices. So if you need amplifier, you can go for amplifier. If you need a DAC and amplifier, you should go for DAC and amplifier. So I won't compare it with portable players. I won't compare it probably with small portable digital to analog converters. So actually I'm limited, you know, to almost only few own devices. Compared with E10, this one makes a noticeable step forward in terms of sound staging, and also it's more natural and a bit more powerful. Compared with E17K, this one is a bit warmer and it has a bit more weight on the lows and mids, and I think it gives more realistic sounding. And compared with Q1 Mark II, they have really similar representation because internals are really close. But this one is a bit more powerful, so especially with power-hungry headphones, it will work better. So to summarize probably everything here, well, I can name some tunes I've used that I can be worked as a reference source. So for low frequencies, for example, I don't listen too much to electronic music, but for low frequencies, yes, what I can name? The Prodigy, their most recent album, it sounds really nicely here. Juno Reactor, what else I've got? Also I like Glitch Mob, so all electronic music sounds nicely here because it's good, it has really nice control over deep bass. And some good records of the acoustic bass, for example, also sounds really nice and realistic. Some fortepiano works and organ works with low going notes also is really good. Really good controlled here. Yeah. So, for example, I've already mentioned this. Arne Domneros and Gustav Sjöqvist, their duet with organ and saxophone, really nicely recorded, and it sounds really good. For the mids, I can name, let's say, some good blues, for example, by Hugh Laurie. It's a great example of male vocals, really emotional and represented well. And as female vocals, I usually use Musica Nuda, and I also like with this digital to analog converter. Actually, for Musica Nuda, I missed this a bit of added emotions, but I've fixed this by adding more emotional sounding headphones. You know, actually, as I've said, it's not an issue, it's just a manner of representation of this digital to analog converter. It's just simply not adding something to the sound, and if you need to tune the sound, you have to use headphones. And for the treble, we can take any single recording on the fortepiano, or for example, I like Rachmaninoff recorded by Deutsche Grammophon. I really like Deutsche Grammophon recordings because I think they are the best ones. And all these rich instruments with rich timbres, they have a lot of overtones going really high to the treble area. You just can select some audiophilic recordings and you can hear the treble, is treble good or not. Of course, for some complex classics you need some more expensive device, but this tiny digital analog converter and amplifier does its jobs pretty nicely. So to summarize, I really like this device. I'm not a big fan of using portable DACs with when you don't need this portability. I don't like the idea of charging battery, discharging battery, caring about battery attention. So for desktop usage, I really like the devices without battery, and they are not really often created. So I really like that FiiO updated their E10, creating more modern devices that can be used by audio, well, not probably audiophiles, but by people who really like to get sound improvement and really like to use some full-size headphones. For example, I really like it with a lot of models, starting from Meze 99 Classics and ending with iBasso SR1. Really good pairing that I really enjoyed. This amplifier of this tiny device controls them really nicely and giving a lot of pleasure. So if you're looking for some probably not expensive device that will boost sound quality of your PC or Mac or laptop, then it's one of the best options appeared this year. Thank you for attention.